there. This is Dot there with Rangers of Wrestling, bringing their Wrestling Time post show. It is Wednesday, February 8th, 2023, which means I will be reviewing tonight's AEW Dynamite, which was a Championship Fight Night edition. Alright, so normally when I review the show, I always like to go in order, but because of the finish, I think we should talk about that first. So, the main event was the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. It was the Acclaimed versus the Guns. And this rivalry has been brewing for a while now. And it's interesting because earlier in the night, there was a backstage segment with Daddy Ass and the Acclaimed. And Daddy Ass was talking about how he felt it was in the best interest to stay in the back. And, he said that he was being pulled in two different directions. He cared about all four men. And he said that the Acclaim would handle business. And it's interesting, if you pay attention to Anthony Bowens' look when this was going on, he's kind of looking down. He's kind of giving Daddy Ass a side eye. And then they do the scissoring. So that leads into the main event, because that's important. So I thought this was a good match. But at one point, Anthony Bowens inadvertently strikes the referee with a rolling elbow strike. And the ref goes down, and Daddy Ass comes out. He comes out. And Austin Gunn has the tag title. He's got the tag title. And he's about to he wants to hit Anthony Bowens with it. So he comes out, and he grabs Anthony Bowens, and part of me was kind of like, oh my God, they're actually going to do it. Daddy Ass is going to turn heel. He's going to turn on the Acclaim. But he did not do that. He tossed Bowens to the side, and he stopped Austin from hitting Anthony Bowens with that tag title. However, Colton then hit his own dad with the title. And then, the ref, while this is all going on, the ref is still knocked out outside. And Max Caster attempts the mic drop to Austin. And at some point, Colton hits Anthony Bowens with the title. And so the Guns end up being victorious and are the new AEW Tag Team Champions. And the crowd starts chanting, bullshit, bullshit. You could tell nobody was happy that the Guns won that way. And I mean, in a way, it makes sense, because if you want the feud to continue, you had to get the titles off the Acclaim. If the Acclaim would have won this and they would have won clean, how would the feud continue? So, as much as people disagree with the finish, give me 1 second, guys. So, in my opinion, the finish made sense because you want the feud to continue. Now, if you wanted the feud to end, the Acclaimed would have totally won. Give me 1 second, guys. The Acclaim would have won this to begin with. And the way things went down, I honestly feel like there probably will be a rematch at Revolution, probably. That seems what it is. And I don't think Daddy Ass is going to turn heel. I think he's going to stay with the Acclaim. I would be shocked if they separate Daddy Ass and the Acclaim. That's such, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing, But what did you guys think of the Guns beating the Acclaim in tonight's main event? Should this have even been the main event? So, during the match, at one point you had Colton tell Max Caster, he did the whole DX suck it thing. But I was surprised, really. I was surprised that the Guns won. I was not expecting the Guns to win. And that's probably why this was the main event. For that reason. But Not everybody was happy with this finish. It really, and I can understand why. Because everybody loves the the Acclaim. The Guns will be born champions, probably. But like I said, in order for the feud for the Acclaim and the Guns to continue, the Guns had to beat the Acclaim. I think the Acclaim will get a rematch and win at Revolution. If that doesn't happen, then this was not a good way to end the match, that's for sure. So, but hopefully this leads to a rematch and the Acclaims can recapture their tag titles. But if not, then terrible, terrible. This is just a good time for FTR to come back, and FTR will be taking the titles from them. Oh, I totally forgot about that. Give me 1 second, guys. Oh yeah, I totally forgot FTR. So yeah, so the Guns. Okay, so if the Acclaim doesn't win, the next option would be FTR. Maybe if we don't get the Acclaim versus the Guns rematch at Revolution, maybe we could get FTR versus the Guns. After all, the Guns did beat FTR, and that was a huge surprise, honestly. But we have to wait and see. But what do you guys think the Revolution match is going to be? The Guns versus FTR, the Guns versus the Acclaim. So definitely, I don't think that rivalry is over yet. It's either going to end with the Acclaim recapturing those tag titles, or it's going to end with FTR taking those tag titles off the Guns. But nope, like I said, not everybody was happy with that finish, and that was the main event. So, but with that being said, let's talk about the show with the opening match, which was the AEW World Championship Eliminator match. It was MJF versus Konosuke Takeshita. Holy smokes, this was incredible. Now, the thing that I liked was MJF offered his hand to Konosuke, but Konosuke was like super hesitant to shake his hand, and I don't blame him because MJF is a snake. And this was a really, really good match. And you guys know, I don't know if you guys know this, but they were in El Paso, Texas, which is Eddie Guerrero's hometown. So Konosuke Takeshita doing a tribute to Eddie Guerrero with a frog splash. This led to the crowd chanting, Eddie, Eddie. Honestly, I totally would have loved it if Konosuke did the Three Amigos during this match. The total missed opportunity for him to do the Three Amigos. Like MJF was just targeting Konosuke's arm. Like he even bit Konosuke's hand during this. Konosuke with 6 elbow strikes to MJF. That power bomb on the knee that MJF did to Takeshita was pretty cool. Takeshita did the Blue Thunder bomb. Let me see. Great match. Both MJF and Takeshita delivered. In the next year, Takeshita will be world champion. That crowd was hot throughout that match and the rest of the night. Yeah, definitely. Takeshita will be world champion at some point. He is just really, really good. I really like how the crowd was chanting, "Let's go, Maxwell! Maxwell sucks!" and they were chanting "Culero," and it honestly took me way back to like Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression era of WWE when the crowd would chant "Culero, Culero." That was hilarious. But of course, like MJF wins this match by submission. With the salt of the earth. At the end of the match, he attacks Konosuke Takeshita with the Dynamite Diamond Ring, and he busted him open. And then Bryan Danielson came to save Takeshita. So that was a great opening contest. The second match was the AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator match. It was the Bunny versus Jamie Hayter. Both women shake hands. Now, this was a decent match. I didn't mind it. But of course, Jamie Hayter ended up winning after she hit the ripcord lariat to the Bunny. So, both MJF and Jamie Hayter won their eliminator matches. So, I guess they're not defending. I'm very curious to see what Jamie Hayter's going to do at Revolution. seems to me, like I talked about this last time, seems to me like they're building towards a blood and guts match for the women. Speaking of which, we get a Saraya and Toni Storm segment in which Leva Bates appears. I didn't know she was still with AEW. And they spray paint her, and they basically calling everybody a loser. So kind of like the Outsiders where they spray painted. So and Lucha Underground, they chanted Culero a lot. Oh really? I've never watched Lucha Underground, but thank you for letting me know that. So MJF cuts a promo. He was talking about how everybody was talking about Takeshita, like he's the next big thing. He is the next big thing. And he says that Bryan treats him like a scumbag, and the fans do as well. He says a man does not know what he's truly made of until he's met with adversity. And so he starts telling the story about how he used to get multiple speeding tickets in high school, and about how one girl in particular, he uses the name Liv. It was talking about how they hit a pole, and he had blood on his hands, and her head cracked through his window, and so he grabbed her lifeless body and switched seats with her so that when the police showed up, she was the one driving. And he goes on to say that in this life, there are winners and there are losers, and the history books don't care how you get the job done. Give me 1 second. He goes on to say that Bryan wants to talk about exposing MJF, and that tonight he will expose Bryan. Let me see. What does it say? I forgot Leva was still employed. Had me the night call. I forgot she was employed too. I was surprised to see her in that segment. So MJF was trying to do everything in his power to not face Bryan Danielson. And MJF, like every time he cuts a promo, he's just really good at cutting promos. So there has not been one MJF promo that has disappointed me, honestly. He's really good. And this promo was no different. He knows how to get heel heat. We get the Guevara Garcia Gauntlet. And this starts off with Angelo Parker versus Ricky Starks. And Ricky Starks obviously wins. Then we get Matt Menard versus Ricky Starks. Quick finish with the roll up, and Ricky Starks wins. And the thing that I thought was hilarious is that Daniel Garcia comes out, and then Sammy Guevara comes out. And he actually, let me see, that MJF promo was great. Yeah, it was fantastic. That gauntlet was lame as hell. You really think so? So Garcia ends up attacking Ricky Starks after a distraction caused by Sammy Guevara. And this leads into Daniel Garcia versus Ricky Starks. So they were actually having a good match until Ricky Starks went to the outside, and all of a sudden there was this masked wrestler that came out from the crowd and attacked Ricky Starks. He was wearing Mid Mascara. It looked like he was wearing the mask of Mid Mascaras. You guys don't know who Mid Mascaras is. He is a renowned luchador from Mexico. And so because of that, Daniel Garcia ended up winning this. And at the end, we find out that masked wrestler was Chris Jericho. And so you can see him celebrating with Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara. So the whole point of this was that if Ricky Starks won, he would face Chris Jericho. But he didn't. Now, gauntlet matches there's some parts where gauntlet matches tend to be really, really good. There's good gauntlet matches, and then there's bad gauntlet matches. You have matches in gauntlets where the first 2 matches are bangers, and then like the last one may not be. So obviously this was more story than match. This was supposed to be so the feud with Jericho and Starks is going to continue. And with a few weeks to go before Revolution, I have a feeling the blowout match will be at Revolution. It might be a stipulation match, I think. because Jericho keeps ducking Ricky Starks. I'm trying to think that maybe might be a cage match at Revolution. That way Jericho can't escape. Gauntlet matches are so overused that I hate some of them. Yeah, I can see why you hate some of them, because sometimes you know, I get that. I can see why. But I like I said, this feud at Revolution is probably gonna end at Revolution. So after this, we get that daddy ass in the Acclaimed segment where I talked about at the beginning. Then after that, okay, so it cuts to Konosuke Takeshita. He's sitting in the trainer's room, and then Bryan is there. And then all of a sudden, someone comes and locks Bryan Danielson in the trainer's room. And mind you, his match is gonna start. You can hear Rush's theme. And so MJF comes out and he wants to talk to Audrey Edwards. And the fans start chanting culero, culero. And of course, MJF says que no habla español. Or actually, he said it more like, no hablo español. He said it more like that. But he basically saying he doesn't speak Spanish. And he tells Audrey Edwards to ring the bell and start the count. And he gets so frustrated with Audrey Edwards because she's counting really slow. Because remember, Bryan Danielson has to beat Rush so that he can face MJF in the 60-minute Iron Man match at Revolution. And so Bryan Danielson ends up breaking free from the trainer's room, and he rushes to the ring, and he immediately goes after Rush. Rush sends Bryan into the barricade. Then he drop kicks him to the side of the head. Bryan at some point gets busted open. There's headbutts to Bryan. Then there's back and forth chest chops in the ring apron. Bryan goes crashing to the outside. A tope to Rush on the outside. That straight jacket power driver to Bryan. Psycho knee to Bryan. Psycho knee to Rush. I think the crowd starts chanting, "Si se puede, si se puede." Yes, we can. Yes, we can. And then there's back and forth headbutts. That was a really cool spot with the back and forth headbutts. Now it takes a second psycho knee from Bryan Danielson to Rush. And Bryan Danielson ends up winning this. So he is going to Revolution. He's going to get a 60-minute Iron Man match. And then at the end, MJF attacks Bryan with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. He does the Start of the Earth. And officials try to separate MJF from Bryan. So obviously he's trying to send Bryan a message for that 60-minute Iron Man match. Give me 1 second, guys. Forget. Okay, so awesome match it was. Bryan was bleeding bad. That even little blood got on. Yeah, it's like Bryan's blood was splattering all throughout the cameras. Like you saw little red droplets on those cameras. So now that we know Bryan is gonna head to AEW Revolution, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see the build to see what else they do to lead up to the match. Okay. So then we get the AEW World Trios Championship match. It is the Elite versus Top Flight and AR Fox. I have to say, like, this match was freaking incredible. This should have been the main event. Like, this match had so much back and forth. Like, there were parts where I was like, oh my god, the Top Flight and AR Fox are going to win. But, damn, no. That Spanish fly that Matt Jackson did to Darius was freaking phenomenal. This was just an overall amazing match. Like, Top Flight will definitely be tag team champions in the future. And compared with AR Fox, they definitely will be trios champions in the future. Maybe not now. Maybe not later this year. But definitely they will be both either tag team champions or trios champions. But this match was freaking incredible. Probably a preview of what's to come for Top Flight and AR Fox. So, of course, the Elite are victorious. and it was just such an incredible match. Like, oh, but now that the Elite win, so I wonder who's gonna face the Elite. Like, are they even going to be at Revolution? Well, Revolution is March 5th, and you have 3 weeks. Yeah, you got 3 weeks to go before Revolution. So I'm very curious to see if the Elite are gonna defend those trios titles again at Revolution, and against who? Maybe House of Black. Obviously, knew the Elite weren't going to lose, but Hathaway will be champion soon. They need another opportunity. Yeah, they will. They do need another opportunity. And like I said, it's either am I going to Revolution? I plan to, but I definitely will let you guys know more about Revolution probably the week of Revolution. Like I said, Top 5 will either be tag team champions or they're going to be trios champions with AR Fox. Probably once the Elite loses those titles, I think they'll be champions. So we get a Stokely Hathaway backstage interview. He's basically blaming Hook for all the problems within the foundation. And Hook attacked Stokely. It's so funny because Stokely afterwards is like calling for medical attention and stuff, which was hilarious. I don't think that would be the Revolution match. It seems like they've been hinting at Matt Hardy versus Ethan Page. I think that's going to be the Revolution match. And like I said at the beginning, our main event was the AEW World Tag Team Championship match, the Guns versus the Acclaimed, which the Guns were victorious. What are your guys' thoughts on the Guns winning those tag titles? Do you think that rivalry is over? Do we get a rematch at Revolution? Do we get a rematch maybe next week, in 2 weeks? We get FTR coming back. What do you guys think? But since I already talked about that at the beginning, there's no sense of talking about it again. But thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I don't know if I will live stream on Friday for SmackDown Rampage. Might record and upload, but if I don't do a review, then I will see you guys live Monday after Raw. Bye.